Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Judith Patterson. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Texas, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make the cards in my Heartfelt Hexagon class at home. I used to call these class to go, but I've decided I'm going to change that and call it class at home because you get to do this class in the comfort of your own home. Which I think is lovely. So I like having, sorry, I sidetrack a lot, but I like having nice crafty days at home alone, or it's even better whenever I have a friend over. So the things that we'll be using to make these cards are the Heartfelt Hexagon stamp set. Well, actually the bundle, so you can also get the punch. I believe right now this is out of stock, but it will be coming back. So if you don't have it, you can just wait on it or improvise and use a different punch or die. And we'll also be using the Sunny Days Designer Series paper. So that's just a little sampling. This is a 12 by 12 Designer Series paper pack. And this is free if you order $50 or more during celebration. So celebration lasts until the end of February. And all of the items, of course, are while supplies last. So you want to make sure you get your order in soon. And the way to get the class is to use this host code right here and get your order in by, I'm extending this class a little bit because I didn't let people know about it ahead of time like I usually do. So through Thursday, February 8th, if you use that host code, then you can get this class to go for free on any order that is $35 or more. If your order reaches $50, then you also get to choose from something free from Celebration, as well as get from me, I can't find my full package. So you'll get a full pack of these classic matte dots. I thought I had a full pack right here to show you, but evidently I have left it in my extras drawer and forgot to bring it over to my desk. So let's start stamping. There is one other thing that, well, ink. We'll be using ink. So the two ink colors I'm using are Shaded Spruce and Poppy Parade. And then I'll also be using this gingham ribbon. It's just black and white gingham. I don't know why I was looking at it like it was complicated. This is not included in your class kit. Okay, so all of your paper pieces will be included in your class kit. If your order reaches $50, then you'll also get the classic matte dots. You'll have to supply your own ribbon, adhesives, stamps, and if you wanted, the punch. So, oh, did I say ink? Ink also. And I wanted to show you this too. This coordinates with that heart or the hexagon punch really well, or it's great just alone or with other punches or dies. But it is also from Celebration. It's available, like I said, while supplies last or through February 29th. And it's free with a $50 purchase. So that is just something else to keep in mind. There's a lot of really great stuff in the Celebration this time. There usually is, and this time is no exception. I pretty much want it all. Okay, let's stamp. So whenever you get your class kit, you will get all the pieces come in an envelope for each card. So you get the envelope and then all the pieces to make 6 cards. I do already send the pieces punched, and when they're stamping, especially if it's a shape like this, I like to send you an extra piece just in case a mistake is made while you're stamping. You have another chance to get it right. And I do that because I have been known to make a mistake or two while stamping. So I went ahead and put this on my piece to make sure it's lining up correctly. And that looks good. And then, sorry about that, I'm sure that was loud. So then I'll ink it up. I usually stamp and then punch, but when I'm doing these classes, I like to make sure that you're going to be able to replicate what I'm doing. So I did get that pretty close to the edge, but sometimes that happens when I stamp and then punch as well. So we're going to call that one good. The next stamp set I'm going to grab is the I Hope Your Day is Filled with Joy. And I'm using the Poppy Parade to stamp this one. Okay, this next piece, just going to use some liquid glue and place it right here. I'm going to use just a bit of tear and tape on either end of this ribbon. You can also use, other things I like to use for attaching ribbon are glue dots or stamp and seal. Any of that will work. Liquid glue also works if for certain things. So a lot of times whenever I am tying a bow and then adding a bow to a project, I'll either add it with a glue dot or I'll add it with a little dab of liquid glue. Dimensionals are my favorite, and I go through these. I always have to order, pretty much every order I have to get new dimensionals. I think I'm stocked up, and then I'll create a few cards, let's say, probably a little bit more than a few, and I realize I am getting a little short on dimensionals again. It's time to order more. You want to make sure that that's opening the correct way, and then just do your best to center this up on the front. I'm going to use some more dimensionals. I'm going to go ahead and cut a couple. I don't use my good paper snips when I'm cutting things with adhesive on them, including dimensionals. I'll use other scissors, but not my good ones, which are my paper snips. I just like to cut them in half. I don't want them overlapping the ribbon any, so I'm just making sure I keep them away from the center. And then to finish this off, I'm going to use just a few of these small matte dots. So there's the front of our card. And then there's an extra piece here, and that is for the inside. So I did neglect to say, I'm also using the Happy Birthday, the medium-sized Happy Birthday from Go To Greetings. This is one of my favorite stamp sets. I use it all the time. But if you don't have this one, any birthday greeting will do for the inside of your card, as long as it's sized to fit the inside of the card well. Just going to center that up here. And then I'm going to grab my little, these are A size blocks, and I'm going to get this little leaf and put it on one, or stem, this flower stem, and then the flower. So I'll stamp it in the corner here. And then, isn't that cheerful? While I have all this out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp it right here as well. If you wanted to, in fact, I think I do want to, I'm going to add another one just on the front of the card. Or not the card, the envelope. Okay, so there is card 1. Our second card, I did not use the hexagon punch on this one. Instead, I used the cloud punch, and we're going to do a little masking. So you'll also get a little piece of a post-it note to do your masking. So put the Designer Series paper strip on your pool party strip. Just center that up. So it goes on the ends should meet up, but the sides you want to center. And then I used the Raindrops embossing folder. Your page or your sheet will come embossed already if you get the kit. So just put this, it's approximately 1/2 inch from the edge of the white piece. It's not exact, but if you wanted it to be exact, you could use your measurements on your grid paper or your glass mat. So I'm going to use the shaded spruce, and I'm stamping on the blue. That's why you have 2 blue pieces. And this is a sympathy card. I thought the raindrops and the clouds were pretty perfect for a sympathy card. So I'm just going to use that Post-it to mask this right here, because sincere just doesn't fit on the cloud. It would help if I put this on a block, Okay, so I'm making sure I'm not covering up my H's at all. But I want that sincere covered. So I'm going to ink it up really well. And then make sure you remove that Post-it and put it somewhere where you're not going to get it in something important. Because it's super inky. And then go ahead and stamp your cloud. I'm getting really close to the edge when I'm stamping, but it's on there. So that's good. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue in the middle and near the bottom. I did that wrong. I need it actually towards the top. But it's okay. Okay, so then layer that on the white cloud. I'm going to go ahead and flip it over and try not to bump it or anything. I don't want to move it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and use dimensionals to hold it in place a little bit on that one side. 4 dimensionals is probably overkill for this tiny little piece, but like I said, I really like my dimensionals. Alright, so just find a good place to put it, and that is it for the front of this card. This one is simple, it's sweet. On the inside, sorry about my reach there, I'm going to stamp the heart down here in this corner. And then I'm going to stamp, and this is one again, but the heart and this stamp are both from Heartfelt Hexagon. It says, sending you lots of love and hugs. So I always plan out well, I don't always. 90% of the time I plan out the inside before I start recording the video, but I always forget about the envelope until the recording is happening. So I think I'm going to do the same thing I did on that first card, only this time I'm going to use a heart. So I'm going to put a little heart in the corner here. I need to re-ink my Poppy Parade again. And I'm going to put a little heart in the corner there. That one did good. Let's see if I can do this one. If you're stamping a lot, like a big image, or you're going to be coloring an image, I always suggest putting just a scrap of, this is just printer paper, just copy paper, something, junk mail, put some kind of scrap paper in your envelope while you're doing your stamping, especially if you're coloring, just to make sure it doesn't bleed through. But if you're just stamping something small like this, it should be fine. So there is, I keep showing it where you can't see it. Okay, there's our second card. So the third card, I have decided to do something, and then these pieces you can do whatever you want to with. They're just extra for you, unless you use them. Okay, so you'll do 2 each of those 2 cards. And then your third card, you will have an option. So I'm going to show you both options. I'm only going to make one of them because they are really exactly the same. So for one, you'll be using the green flowers. For the other one, and I'll just go ahead and do this one since you'll be doing the Poppy Parade. So it's the same layout. Everything is exactly the same except this piece of paper and your card base are a different color, and on this one you'll use Poppy Parade ink. On the other one you'll use the shaded spruce. And I have to say, this is one of my favorite stamps in this set. I kept catching myself wanting to use this one for everything, and I had to make myself stop and use other things. So this one says, let's eat cake. And you have two pieces of basic white cardstock here. So one is, see if you can see, one's a little bit bigger than the other one. You want the big piece, and it's going to go behind your designer series paper. So it's just a mat for that. And it's cut just slightly bigger. So you're not going to have a ton of room on the edge. There you go. So on the back, you're going to use that tear-in tape again. I like to just use Stampin' Seal. I don't use Stampin' Seal a lot, but I like to use it for this. So I'm going to take my ribbon, starting at one corner, and this is one reason why I don't include ribbon. I don't like to pre-measure ribbon. I like to leave it on the spool and use it as I go. I feel like I don't use quite as much ribbon that way. I'm always afraid if I were to send you ribbon, I wouldn't send enough, or I'd send you way too much, or I'd just send you this weird amount. I overthink it. And I figure most of us have ribbon that we can use for things. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine. Or if you want it to look exactly like mine, then you could add this to your order when you're ordering to get your class. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the front. It's like a faux bow almost. I know a lot of people really don't like tying bows, so that's one way to get out of it. Just kind of zigzag it across the back of your piece. So again, I'm just using 3 of these little dots. I almost forgot that I had these for a little bit, and when I remembered, I was really excited because they go with everything. Okay, so there is the front of that card. These cards are so simple, y'all, but I love them. I hope you like them as much as I do. And I'll go ahead and show you. This is what the other card looks like. So you get one of each of these to make up your 2 cards. So then this other piece, of course, is for the inside of your card. And for that one, I'm going to use this flower right here. And I'm just inking the whole thing in red ink and stamping it here on the edge. And while I have it out, let's just go ahead and stamp that envelope as well. And can you see the theme that we're going with here? I'm just gonna stamp it here on the corner, and then I'm gonna flip it around, and on the front of the envelope, I'll stamp it on that corner as well. Just keep things easy breezy today. Okay, so there's our cards for this class at home. like I say, I hope that you like these as much as I do. This class really does not take long without speeding up, and even with all the sidetracking and rambling and different things. This video is at 30 minutes right now before I edit it. So really a quick class. It's but I think it's pretty. I really like this one. Anyway, I hope that you will reach out and ask me any questions that you have about this class. You do get a PDF tutorial with it. I email it before I even ship the class. So all of the information is over on my blog. And you can see that website down here. It's just my name, judithpatterson.net. So if you go there, then you can see all of the details for this class. And if you're watching this after the 8th, then I usually have a few days between classes, and then the next one will show up. So the current class should be showing no matter when you watch it, or you might catch it in between classes. All right, I hope y'all have a great weekend, that you have time to enjoy being outside and enjoy time in your craft room. Happy stamping!